back to Hanrattys Huddle with your host, Mr. Terry Hanratty. I am Dave Toromeo. We are in early April. Final Fours start tonight with the women, tomorrow with the men. But college sports, Terry, is a cluster. You know what? I won't use the word.
No, we can't use that word.
All right.
But we all know what you want to say.
Can I say it's a shit show? Is that fair?
It is. You're right on the edge.
All right.
But it is absolutely horrible.
It's horrible.
I mean, it's a joke. I mean, because this NIL, they're going to pay these kids. You know, it really hits home now with Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Especially Notre Dame women.
They're all
right now.
Yeah.
We have 3 scholarship women on our basketball team.
How horrible.
And we have kids that, you know, obviously graduation, you can't get around that.
Right.
But then we have our point guard. She jumps to the portal. Then we have 2 centers. One's a freshman, which would really surprise me because she played well last year, and she would have been sort of a go-to person next year, and she's jumping to the portal. I can see Olivia Miles, and everybody's up in arms because she was supposed to be the number 2 person taken in the draft.
Yep.
Behind the girl from UConn. And but she's going to forego with the WNBA draft. And I thought, oh, great, she's going to stay at Notre Dame. No, she's going to jump in the portal. But when you think about it, what good is that rushing to the WNBA? If you're in the top 2 rounds, which she's supposed to be the second person taken, so she's obviously in the first round, the maximum salary is $76,000. She can make $1 million in NIL. Why would you waste that 1 year when you can make a fortune over here, play another year in college? You know, obviously Notre Dame can't pay all those women, so right. I'm sure that's probably what happened. They can't pay everybody, so I'm going to jump and make the most money wherever it's going to be. Nobody knows yet. But she's going to make a lot of money. Then next year she'll go to the WNBA. And the first 2 rounds get $76,000. And if you're like 3rd and 4th round, you get like $73,000. So what's the big deal? Even if you have a bad year and you drop to the 2nd or 3rd round, who cares?
It's across the board. It's men's and women's basketball. It's obviously football. The transfer portal, NIL. It is killing college athletics, killing it, and it's probably going to kill colleges. Are going to go under. I mean, because first of all, I feel bad for a lot of these coaches.
Oh,
they're recruiting. They recruit their asses off. They find kids. Maybe they were a diamond in the rough, or maybe they think of a kid as a project, a development thing. Come in, you play for a couple of years. By the time you're a junior or senior, you'll be starting. And then these kids come in, and a lot of them aren't great. They just decide, well, I'll put my name in the portal because, you know, I can.
Yeah.
And it's a mess. It's a total mess.
And it's not just, it's recruiting 125 kids a year. Because you have to recruit the kids, 100-some kids that are on your roster now.
Yep.
Now you got a new class coming in of 25 kids, we'll say roughly all these numbers. And so you got to recruit them to bring them in. Now you got like 125 kids. You got to keep happy, and that's an impossible task for a coach. And what you really, look at yourself as an alumni from whatever your university you're from. You like to see the kids progress along your program.
Yep. That
really builds a camaraderie to the people who invest in the school and donations to their university, and they get to watch these kids grow, and they feel real part of the program.
Yeah.
Now you bring in all these kids from one and dones, the quarterback or the running back or the defensive lineman or the defensive back, whatever they are. The alumni really don't get to know these kids, so they're going to start waning on their donations. Forget about that. That's crazy. This is going to happen to a lot of schools. A lot of the big, the top 10% are going to be fine. That's the way it is in everything.
Yep.
But everybody else, I really worry about the programs and the academic standards.
Yep.
Because through all this that goes on with the NIL and portal and all, no one ever brings up academics.
No.
And that's the most important. One thing that changes, everything that goes on with the screw-ups with the NCAA and the portals and the monies is flying out.
Yeah.
One thing that becomes constant is less than 1% make it to the pros. So that's a big. If you don't have that scholarship,
yeah.
If you don't have that piece of paper when you graduate because likely you're not going to make it in the pros. And very few make it to their first contract anyway. So it's not a big deal. 1%, again, 10% make all the money. So, I mean, you really have to have that diploma. But no one ever brings up the academics. And that's the sad part about this whole situation.
Never. It used to be when they introduce a player or show a play, they would say, and his major is, they don't even, it's such a farce. They don't even talk about academics.
No,
they don't even talk about.
Never.
I mean, he's a 3.5 GT all-night. No, it's not even part of the conversation anymore. And I will tell you this, and this is just I don't know if you agree with this. People say, "Oh, well, you got the 4 1s in the and in the women's side is 3 1s and a 2, and it's all basically chalk, all the way through." That's not good.
No.
It's killed the tournament. You want those, especially the first and second round. You want those upsets. You want to see the Cinderella. You want to see the St. Peter's and say, "Wow, this team's in the Final Four." It's like, and I'm not saying it's bad basketball. The basketball's been good.
Well,
I mean, it's good to, but it's not as fun. It's just not as fun. Well, and this is the reason.
You have all the majors, we'll call them the big name schools.
Yeah.
Are pilfering all the good kids that come in the MAC league or the whatever, lower league or whatever.
Yeah.
And they have no talent to compete against these teams.
The power
they're
conference.
losing to the big guy.
Exactly. The power conference schools are looking at the mid-majors, and there's plenty around us right here. Iona, Fairfield, right up the line, Central Connecticut, Southern, whatever it is, has a minor league system.
Yeah.
You'll recruit. You'll find the guys, for us or the women, and great job, and bring them in, and they're stars on your team. Well, they're going to enter the portal, and they're going to come to my team and play for me. And that is what is part. It's killing the mid-major. It's killing the NCAA tournament.
And it's killing a lot of big name schools that we know, especially in the basketball arena. They're always year after year very competitive in the basketball arena, but they're not going to be able to be competitive anymore because the big name schools are going to take their players away from them and pay them money.
Here's another good example, and I'm not saying this is happening, but it could happen. A great basketball school like Gonzaga. It's a great story because it's not in a major conference. It's not a major school like Florida or Alabama or whatever, Tennessee, whatever you want to say, Notre Dame even. But they've done a great job building a great basketball program. The coach has stayed all these years. Yep. He could have left at any time over the They make the NCAA tournament every year. Now, how is that guy going to compete when, the player goes, "Coach, I can go to XYZ school and make $3 million this year.
Yeah.
What can you give me?" And I mean, they can't compete with that.
They don't have the alumni that could dig into their pocket. And that whole conference out there, that St. Mary's.
Yeah.
They have some great basketball players. They're also going to be punished by this.
Absolutely.
By this money.
St. Mary's is a great program. So, and it's sad, really. So the NIL is out of control. We won't get into this, but there's a big court ruling coming up in California that's going to.
Well, right there, something's going to go wrong. It's in California.
Okay. I didn't go there. You did.
I did.
But at the end of the day, it's the NIL and the transfer portal. I am so grateful. I'm happy that I worked in college athletics and I work for the Football Foundation, which largely is an educational business entity, nonprofit, right? Because that's what we did. We gave scholarships to really deserving guys. I mean, guys, Rob Sadecka from Nebraska, 4.0 or over 4.0, became a doctor. But it was also a great football player. Even Peyton Manning. Peyton was one of our scholar athletes. Guys like that. Tiki Barber. These were great football players, but they were also great students. Yeah. If I were those guys, I'd be offended by this. I would not just the money part of it. It's like you said, guys, the academics is important.
It's never brought up.
It's never brought up.
Never brought up.
It's a sad.
And it's a very sad situation.
And I will be honest, I'm going to call out my former employer on this too, because I think organizations like the National Football Foundation and College Hall of Fame Incorporated, which you are going to be inducted in December, so you're going to meet these guys. You know these guys already. What the hell are they doing? Shouldn't they be taking a stand on some of this stuff? Shouldn't they be coming out and saying, "Listen, this is where we stand on NIL. This is where we stand on the portal. This is what we think should be happening in college athletics." Have a voice. Don't sit back and just say, no, it's okay." I'm sorry. I said it years ago when I worked there. We had the MacArthur Bowl which was the national champion. And the one year I was there, they had, this is before the playoff and everything.
Right.
They had the AP was one school, I forget who it was, and the other poll, USA, whatever, was another school. And I said, why don't we be the tiebreaker? Let's not just go along with the crowd. But sometimes I guess it's easier to go along with the crowd. Anyway, it is a mess.
It's a mess, and it's got to be settled soon, because this is just getting totally out of control. And they really have to. I hate to say it, but they really have to bring these kids in as employees at the university, because that's going to really diminish your scholarships.
Yep.
As far as academics are concerned.
And
you're going to bring these kids in. You got to sign them to a contract. You got to bring them in and sign them to a 2-year contract.
Right.
And if they, in my theory, if they can leave one time.
Yep. One time.
And if they do it again, they got to sit out a year.
Yep.
That'll give them.
I got to just like the
because
old
you can't. If you look at life, everybody goes through life. I don't care whether you're Elon Musk. You've gone through some nasty stuff in your lifetime.
Yep.
But you fought through it.
Yeah.
What are we teaching these athletes?
Yeah.
We're teaching them. If something goes a little bit against you, run. No, you can't. Life is hard, so you got to teach them at an early age. You got to stay there and be competitive.
They're
and work it out yourself. Don't just run from every problem, because there's got a lot of problems in your lifetime you're going to be running from. You better keep many extra pair of sneakers because you're going to be running.
Well said. And here's the thing, and I'm not calling him out because I know he's a great kid. The dad is a very successful guy, and he's somebody I know well, and you know these guys well. But Drew Pine now is in the portal again, and this will be his 4th college.
Yeah.
This is going to be his 4th college. Notre Dame to Arizona State to Missouri. Now he's in the portal again for how many? I mean, it's like how many years of eligibility? He's got 1 year left. Now, football aside, if you were an employer and Drew is not going to play football, whatever it is, and you say to Drew, I don't know if I want to hire you.
Yeah.
Because if things don't go your way in the first year here, does that mean you're just going to jump ship and leave and go to another company?
Yeah.
Because that is instability.
That's what people look at.
Yeah.
They look at. That's why when I tell people, if you're looking to hire a football player, obviously the intelligence has to be there. Mm-hmm. You look at alignment.
Yep.
That's your best hire. Because these guys have been together, they stick together, they take care of each other's back, they learn to work as a team. And that's your best hire to anybody, any organization in the country.
That's right.
And they don't jump around. You want someone who jumps around? No. How can I train you when I don't know if you're going to be here another year?
That's right.
You're going to find something better and jump to that thing? Life is tough. And you got to put your head down sometimes and just go forward.
So they're not getting the life lessons they should be getting. We don't even know if they're getting the education that they should be taking advantage of. And at the end of the day, as you said, a lot of these kids, they're making money now. And that's another thing, is how much money these guys saving. They're making lots of money. What do? They go out and they buy the nicest car. They do
bling, man. Look for the bling.
They have no idea. Look at the stock market. They have no idea that things could turn on a dime. And taxes and all the other stuff. All right.
I just hope that they have. I know the schools are trying to help them best they can. I just hope they listen to the schools.
Yeah.
Because there could be a real long line at the IRS in a few years.
Oh yeah.
A lot of people. Wait a minute.
Don't think the IRS is sitting there.
I was supposed to give you 50% of what I made. Wait a minute. I don't have that anymore. Well, you owe me a little more than the 50%.
Guess
now.
what?
So
it's a thing called a penalty.
It could be a terrible mess. I hope it's not. But I'm just looking at the devil's advocate here.
I hope they're getting some training, some education, which really should be done at the high school level, I believe, with personal finance. But okay, let's. All right, now everybody's off our lawn. Get off our lawn. We turn to some games, and they should be good games. You have the women's tonight. Texas 1 versus South Carolina 1. That's at 7. South Carolina's a small favorite, 5.5 points. And then our UConn Huskies play, the 2-seed UConn Huskies play UCLA. Those games should be fun and interesting.
Texas, of the women, is probably the most interesting team I've seen so far this year.
Okay.
Because in this day and age, they're a team that rarely shoots a 3-ball.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, they defend, they get in your face, they steal the ball, they go in for layups. they work the ball down, and they're taking shots at the free throw line.
Yep. Nice. Okay.
And it's interesting because everybody's hitting that, shooting that three ball.
Oh, I know.
I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But Texas is one of those things. I don't know how they ever do if they fall behind. Whether they have the ability.
That type of offense works. If
you're close and ahead, that's a good good offense. But if you fall behind, I don't know if they have the ability to hit the three ball.
Yeah.
So I think South Carolina's the team in that.
Well,
UConn, you got to really give it to UConn.
You got to give them credit. Yeah.
Halfway through the year, very few people thought UConn was even going to be in the mix.
Yep.
And Gino said before the South Carolina game, I saw an interview with him, and he said that we are peaking now. We are a really good basketball team, and you're going to see the best out of UConn from here on.
Yep.
And the normal person said, well, okay, another coach talking, but he was right.
Yeah.
They look really good right now.
They do look good,
and they're a slight favorite to win it all.
Well,
I mean, they don't have the real size that a lot of these schools have.
They don't.
But
I think they have the best player right now, especially with Juju. They played USC and Juju, whatever her name is. She had gotten hurt, so obviously they won that game. But Paige Buchers she's had her share of injuries, and it would be nice to see her get a national championship.
Yes, and that's the thing that really surprised me. Notre Dame during the year they beat UConn, they beat Texas, they beat Southern Cal.
Yeah.
And here we just at the end of the year for some reason in the last quarter of the season.
Yeah.
Well, before that we were first in the country hitting that three ball.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 4 girls that could really shoot the three ball.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, none of them could shoot it. And they all went cold. You figure one cools down, maybe two, but you still have 2 to go.
It's like a team in a batting slump, right?
No, the whole team was in a slump of hitting that three ball, and I think they just got discouraged. And they did, towards the end of the year, they did not look good, and I feel bad for them. I mean, I think these girls are really good, and the coach, I think, Ivy, I think she is wonderful. And but she's got a load up for next year. Only 3 scholarship kids coming back so far.
And the women's basketball, at least for me, is fun to watch because it is the last form of pure basketball left in the world.
Yeah, they are. It's really a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, these girls can really play.
They're not playing for the ESPN highlight. They're not playing over the rim. They are playing to get the ball to the basket, pick and roll, whatever. And they can shoot. These girls are unbelievable. Some of these girls, it's amazing. All right, so now we go over to the men's side, the chalk tournament.
All my 4 teams are still in.
Well, geez, Terry, you went way on a limb there, didn't you?
I'm one of the only ones, right?
1 Florida versus 1 Auburn. That's the first game tomorrow. I think Florida comes out of that one, and then 1 Houston versus 1 Duke. I think it's going to be a Duke-Florida championship game.
I picked Houston, Florida, Houston.
Wait a minute. You said 3 teams. So who are you?
No.
Oh, you're saying
Houston. Those 2 win the semifinals. And Houston wins it all.
Oh, you got Houston winning it over Florida.
Yes.
Do we put a side bet on this?
We'll put another $1.
Coffee.
Whatever.
So all right.
But no, I mean, I think Houston. Before they were always this tenacious team who were in your face defensively, but didn't have anybody who could shoot the ball.
Yeah.
Now they got the guys that can shoot, and they fly and they run like crazy, and they can shoot the ball now. So it's a totally different team.
Yeah, I just think if Duke and
I hate to bet against Duke.
Yeah, that's
because I think Cooper Flagg is really good,
and the other kid, Knickel, he's really good too, freshman. So I'm going to go Duke, Florida, and I think Duke prevails.
You got Duke winning that. I got Houston.
I got Duke. All right, so that is we've covered college sports ad nauseum, and obviously we're a little pissed off. And then we covered the tournaments coming up. How about we talk some football? What's on your mind in the football world?
Well, we're still the heartbreak of Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I tell you what, if you talk to people in Pittsburgh, they don't want him. I mean, everyone I talk to there, they say, forget about it. Why do we need him? We do not need him.
I read somewhere today, and I can't attribute it, but somebody in the football world, media guys said they think he's still trying to hold out for Minnesota to come back and say, let's have a conversation. He really is trying to get Minnesota in the game. I don't know if that's true, but
I don't know how good J.J. McCarthy's going to be as a pro.
Yeah,
I think they're putting all their eggs in that one basket, and that's a basket that's never played a down in the NFL. So it might behoove you to get Rodgers.
And if Rodgers wants to go there, maybe he'll give you, a deal. I mean, you don't have to worry
And
about killing you.
if that's his destination, we don't want him in Pittsburgh if he don't want to be there.
Yeah, no, that's
because that
right.
doesn't help anybody.
I don't. Yeah, exactly.
And I've said it a million times that Rodgers is one of the few quarterbacks I would pay to watch. I think he's that good.
That, yep.
But if you've got this diva attitude,
yeah, you don't.
I don't want you now.
And I'm
go somewhere else, please.
And that is why I'm really glad that the Jets are just done with him, because he is a great quarterback, and there's no doubt. But you don't need that every day. Just the attention grabbing and the going on the podcast and blah 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 blah. So all right, we'll see what happens with that. What do you think of the Patriots trading their backup quarterback to Dallas? Because this kid played in a couple games and he looked pretty good. Joe Milton. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know why they made that trade. Whether they're looking in the draft to get a quarterback, or
I mean, I know they.
You can't have three on your roster. You can have three if one guy is sort of just an emergency quarterback, but if you have three that are competitive and you think may have a shot, you can't do it.
And they got
not enough reps for three quarterbacks.
The Patriots only got a 5th round pick back for him. So I mean, it's interesting. Maybe he went to them and said, I don't want to be here. I'm not going to get a chance to start. I don't know. You never know, right? But
it could
he'll be in the Milton will be with Dak, and Cooper Rush is now with the Baltimore Ravens, which is interesting. Nice career for Cooper Rush, I got to say, as a backup, and he's
been a while.
Yeah,
been around.
He's been in the league, and I saw him play when he was starting for Dak at a Giant game on Monday night, and he played well. So Milton to the Cowboys. The NFL draft is coming up. We'll get more into that.
The NFL draft is going to be really interesting because they're still not a real number one pick. A lot of guys say Ward, quarterback in Miami. But he threw up a flag to me. I've never heard him talk. I've never heard him interview, so I don't know what kind of kid he is. But when that last game, when he just sort of made the courtesy appearance so he could keep a string alive, then he left the game and they lost the game. That really threw up a red flag for me.
I agree with you.
But he's supposed to be, the real deal. So we'll see what.
We'll see.
When the draft comes,
we've seen a lot of real deals go bust, right? So, but I do think Tennessee is going to take him at 1. I do. And then what's going to be really interesting in this draft, like I said, we'll get more into it in the next couple of weeks, is what the Giants do at 3.
Yeah.
Now that they have Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston, I mean, and if Sanders is probably going to be there at that point.
He will be there.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
Because there's, they got the wide receiver defensive back from Colorado.
Yeah, Hunter. Yeah.
Hunter is, that's something you really have to look at.
Yeah.
Because you have a lockdown cornerback.
Yeah.
And a guy could play, he played too much at Colorado.
Yeah, you're not going to use him.
If you could use him 5-6 times in the NFL as a
special
receiver.
Yeah, exactly.
Special situations.
Right.
And a lot of times you use him as a decoy. People
there
think, oh, he's in.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to double him up, then you go away. So there's a lot of ways you could use him and not really use him. So he's really an interesting pick because looks like a great attitude and a great, obviously a great player.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting, and like I said, that we'll break down the draft more in detail after, obviously, see if this Rodgers mess clears itself up, and we'll start seeing some spring football games here, I would think, too, for college. Right?
Yeah.
So,
well, there's some that have canceled spring games.
Why?
Because of the portal.
Jeepers.
Because they don't want teams coming in, looking at their players and scouting them and offering them whatever. You're not allowed to talk to the players, but you can still talk to the players. You can have other people talk to the players. And
so
it's just, we get back to that situation where how can you duck? Spring games are really, I know I can always, Notre Dame I can speak from. They have a charge you $10 a person to come to a game. And you can sit on the 50-yard line. It's just, open seating.
Yeah.
And all the money goes to charity in the surrounding area there, South Bend. So that's one. No, you want to cancel that and you hurt the charities?
Yep.
No. I mean, you want to put on a nice show for these people. So, again, NIL trickle down hurting people.
Trickle down effect. The trickle down effect of the portal and NIL is just, it's devastating college athletics. But I will tell you something. I'm considering moving to Coastal Carolina. I don't know if you saw this.
No.
Coastal Carolina, if you go to a football game, free food and drink. No alcohol, but free food and drink, anything you want.
Wow.
Nachos, hot dogs.
As long as you
stuff.
want?
At the games, yeah.
No.
You
bring family
show
in.
up on, hey, where's my
I'll be
food?
there Tuesday night. Give me a reservation.
Yeah, if you
No, I mean, if you want to keep, continue eating throughout the game for 3 hours, you can do that?
you can do it. I wouldn't encourage it, but yeah, no. So it's an
Wow.
interesting marketing. Yeah, free food. You go up to the concession stand. I'll take nachos, hot dog, and blah blah blah. You walk away. You don't, no cash. No, it's free. If you're at the game, you buy a ticket or somebody gives you a ticket. You walk out. You're in the stadium. You can eat for free.
I must have got a good deal on hot dogs.
Well, it's an interesting marketing tool, right? Somebody, obviously, it's going to be baked into something else, either the sponsorship or the price of the ticket. So, but it's an interesting ploy because I know that the Falcons, the Atlanta Falcons, have like really cheap concessions. Like you can get a hot dog for $1.
Really?
It's like they've been doing it for a few years where they feel like, okay, let's, obviously, like I said, it's probably baked into the ticket or the parking, whatever. And people, and you know what? Really, if you think about it, I think teams should be taking care of their fans in some way. Well, especially if you're a season ticket holder, give them the free parking, or give them, if you buy season tickets for like the Jets or the Giants, not only do you have to buy the ticket, you got to buy the season parking pass, and that's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And then you got so it's interesting. We'll see what happens.
They could do like the old Cleveland Indians did
Yeah.
many years ago when they had a 10-cent beer night.
Yeah, well, there you go. Didn't cause any problems, did it?
And it broke out into a brawl.
Of course it did. Do you remember
I was
back
going,
in
that was a great promotion. $10 beer night. Oh, man.
back in the 70s, I think there was the Tigers. They had something similar, and they also had disco night, and the fans just went bananas. They were on the field. They were just like, it was a mess. It became like a riot. So, all right, good stuff, Mr. Hanratty. Anything else on your mind?
We're good for now.
All right, signing off for Hanratty's Huddle. I'm Dave Geromeo for Terry Hanratty. Stay well, folks.